Hello. Welcome to our conversation today around strategic planning for our school districts for the years 2021 through 2024. This presentation is provided to you by Kern County Superintendent of Schools. So, our plan for our time today, our table of contents, is really first starting off with those introductions. We'll then talk about those action plans that are currently alive and well in your districts. We'll talk about the purpose of this planning document together. We'll get a sneak peek at that document and provide that to you, as well as talking about how you might personalize this form so that it works for your district. So, in case I haven't met you before, my name is Heather Richter. I am the Administrator of Continuous Improvement Support here at Kern County Superintendent of Schools. Love serving our 46 school districts here in Kern County. And I have the privilege of working with this phenomenal team, the Learning Network. Each of these management analysts is dedicated to our districts here in Kern County. We have Lily Rosenberger, Chris Persons, Jonathan Gage, Candy Weezar, Michael Hernandez, and Chip Wilson. In case you're not aware, each district here in Kern County has been assigned a management analyst. So should any time during our presentation today, you have any questions or concerns or feel like you need some more support, please reach out to your district contact and they will be happy, trust me, they would be happy to come out and visit and have some conversations around strategic planning. So please know and access them at any point in time. So let's talk a minute about the last couple of years. Boy, it's been a lot, hasn't it? And so the state has really required quite a bit of accountability and documentation from our school districts. Are you aware? Have you thought about how many plans you've written in the last 2 years? So let's talk about them a little bit. Started out with, we postponed the LCAP, if you remember correctly, and the state asked us to write a written operations report. That was our first goal. Once the written operations report was done, we then went to a learning continuity and attendance plan, which we all thought was interesting that the letters were also stood for LCAP, but it wasn't an LCAP. But we all wrote a learning continuity plan. From there, our single school districts were then required to write a SIPSA. So if you're not one of those, good for you. But for our single smalls, they definitely had to write those plans. Once that came through, the state started the budget overview for parents. So we needed to learn that documentation. After that, those 4 documents, the next plan we had to write was the Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant. From there, we then got our new LCAP, which was the new 3-year cycle and a new template, new documentation we had to write for that one. Next up, we had our ESSER 3 plans that we've all written, and I think we're all just approved here this last December. From there, we now have our Educator Effectiveness Grant that we're all trying to write towards. And recently, we have this supplement to the annual update. So there are more to come, aren't there? So this is just active plans that we know are happening currently in your district. And so we were, our goal is always to support you, figure out how we can help make life easier for you. And so we had lots of conversations about how do you align all these plans. It feels like, different folks in your district might have hands in different pots. We've got our special ed plan as well happening, right, in our district. So we've got all these active plans going. How do we take them all, make them succinct to the point that we can have some understanding and have some conversations around what we're actually doing for kids and what's working and what's not working. So we worked with San Diego County Office of Ed and came up with some support documents that I hope that you would find useful. So again, remember, the purpose of this document really is about helping you organize and align all of those district plans into one place to help provide clarity for what you're doing and how you might spend your money moving forward. So in the SMORE newsletter, I think that you're going to be getting, you will see that there is a link to a forced copy of this document. So I will show you what that looks like if you're unfamiliar with Google. You'll get a document that just says make a copy. It looks like this. So you're going to hit make a copy and you will see that you'll get a new document. Now, my friends, if you're not familiar with Google, this document is now yours. Okay. So feel free to use it and change it up, but I wanted you to know that that document is there. So you're welcome to access that document from here. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what's in that plan. So starting off here, you will see, the first tab. I've got something in my way here. Hold on. Okay. So the first tab is, goodness. All right, there we go. Now it's away. The first tab we had was funding streams. Second tab says sample goal 1. And the third tab at the bottom of this document says master to duplicate. So I'm going to go through each of those pretty extensively so you feel comfortable with what's in each tab. So let's look at that first tab around funding streams. So what we wanted to do was really just talk through what are all those different funding streams that are available to our districts. And it gets really confusing. What are the timelines? What are allowable expenditures for those? And so we thought, let's put that all in one document. So you'll see in the first column, we have a name for the funding stream. Here you can see LCFF base, LCFF concentration, Title I Part A, Title II, and you can see this form continues to go down. I'm going to go ahead and jump over here to my copy so you can see this continues to go all the way down into all the different funding streams and grants that are happening. Now, mind you, obviously, those are only going to be up to date as of today. Because you're going to make a copy, I can't update yours. But as of today, those are what my understanding is about those budget lines and allowable expenditures. Okay, you are welcome to add more funding streams on there. Again, make this yours. The next column you'll see is around timelines. So again, kind of goes through. Oh, let me back up. In that funding stream column, you'll see those are all hyperlinked. So I went to the state webpage, CDE webpage, or wherever I could find, and hot linked it for you. So if you're not sure, if my clues on the paper are not helping you, feel free to click on those. Those are active links, and you should be able to go to CDE or wherever I was able to find more information to help you decide what that money should be used for, etc. All right, back to timelines. Again, goes back to, we know certain grants are only effective for certain years, those kinds of things. So you hopefully, if you go through the timelines, you'll see when those funds are available and when they should be utilized. The third column you'll see here is around purpose. So again, just a general idea of what the idea of the funding source is for. And finally, I hope, which is gold for you, really is around allowable expenditures. And so this was interesting to me as I was building this document out. I learned quite a few things about what I could use my money for and what I could not. So again, if you go through all this form, you'll be able to find current funding streams and their allowability of use. Okay, so that is your first tab. Second tab, this is an example I've done for you. Okay, so this is a sample. We started off with what are we grounding around when we think about organizing our district? And we know that every district has an LCAP. They may not have an ESSER plan, or whatever. But we know they all have at least an LCAP. So why don't we start with LCAP goals? That made sense to us. Okay. So I took this specific district, and you can see that I just added the LCAP goal up to the top. Okay, in general idea. Once I added the LCAP goal, I then went through that goal and thought through what are like the big buckets of work that they're trying to accomplish within this goal. So you can see this district's goal was around achievement and state standards. All right. And so they had like 3 buckets that I started out with. I saw that there were a lot of actions around literacy. I saw a lot of actions around mathematics. I saw some actions around ELD. So you can see I added those to the top of this graph here. And again, you can continue. I've done these charts all the way over, so you can continue to add those buckets of work. So once you've kind of got those big buckets of work, what you're trying to accomplish, the next thing to do is really to add those actions. What do you have? So you can see here, oops, let me back up here. I started to add those actions in the column. So under literacy, you can see 1A is provide aids for grades K through 3 for small group instruction. And I put in parentheses LCAP. So I wanted to identify if someone asked where was that action living, I put LCAP. You could also color coordinate them if you wanted. You could make LCAP actions green and ESSER actions blue, whatever works for you. But I put it in parentheses to kind of like help. You'll see the second action there is to purchase supplemental materials. And again, I put in parentheses. This was under the ESSER plan. We've got the third one, provide professional learning to staff. So again, you can, and these can be as detailed as you want. I grabbed the big ideas under the LCAP, but you could get pretty granular in here if you wanted, specific in those actions. Totally up to you. So did the same thing around mathematics, added those actions that were there, and then added actions around ELD. Again, because it's a Google Sheet, you're able to hyperlink other documents if it helps to organize yourself. So once the actions were there, so we went through LCAP first. I would then go grab your other plans. So like I said, I started with LCAP. Then you could go through your ESSER plans. You could go through your expanded learning opportunity grant. What kinds of things are you doing under there? Under literacy. So you can really get a global idea. What are all the things that we're doing to support literacy within our districts? No matter what plan they're in. They would all be listed here, so you'd be able to see that. Okay. Once you've listed all of those actions within your district, the next thing you're going to want to do is add the funding sources. So you'll see here under the first one that under the year 2021-22, I have $600,000, and there's a peach color, and 300,000 around this purple color, and those mean something. Then in the next year, it changes to orange. I've got all 900,000, and you'll see the final year as well, all 900,000. What I want you to notice is a connection here. The peach over here aligns with the color up here. And if you look closely, that says Title II. So I know that for this action, 600,000 is coming from Title II. I also know that 300,000, if I color that, trace that color back to the purple, Title I Part A is paying for 300,000 of those aids. Make sense? So then you can start thinking through. We know that we want to make backfill dollars so that we can make the most use out of our money. This district decided to change those funding streams and move it to ESSER dollars. So you can see that the next year they changed all the funding streams to orange, and you'll notice that orange supports ESSER dollars up here. Now, these colors that you'll see are actually the same colors that I put on the first tab of the funding streams. But again, it's your document. You can change the colors to whatever makes sense for you. Just wanted you to see the correlation between them. Now, because this is an Excel sheet, you are able to plan out more. So if you would prefer to add another year and plan out for 24, 25, 25, 26, again, you can just go into these documents and continue to add those years. Okay, so those are your actions according to LCAP. Then if you scroll down on this form, the next thing you'll see at the top, I did add those columns up for you so you could see how much was being spent, let's say, each year on literacy. So you'll see that in the top gray there. The next thing you'll see is around metrics. So again, we don't want to have to recreate the wheel with all these different plans because they're always asking for effectiveness. So really thinking through, how are you gauging literacy within your district? What kinds of assessments are you using? What kind of tools are you using? And so you can list them here so that if you're ever asked or if another plan comes along the way, what might we use to support this action and gauge effectiveness? You can go back and look here to see all the different ways that your district is supporting literacy and gauging effectiveness. The last piece you'll see on this page is really around potential next steps. So we know that money is still coming down from the state. We felt like it was important to be proactive and not reactive. So thinking through, this is what I would do with literacy in this goal. If we had another pot of money, another stream of money that was coming to us, what are some potential next steps that we would want to do around literacy? And as a team, you could brainstorm those, add them to this document so that if the money then comes, you've got some stakeholder feedback, you've heard from your folks, and you're able to kind of move forward on determining what you want to do. Okay, so those are just your potential brainstorming ideas around next steps. All right. So that, my friends, was the second tab around the sample. The third one you'll see here is a master to duplicate. I took all of the language out. I took the colors out. So this is really a blank document for you. So if you're done with the sample one, you can delete that tab if you don't want it. But this master one, you're going to want to right click and hit copy and paste. And you can make as many of these documents as you want. Most of our districts have 2 to 3 LCAP goals. So you would probably want to make 2 to 3 spreadsheets to align there. Okay, so next steps. I want you to know that this document, although we made it, it's for you. Our intention is to make it so that it works for you and your district. So please know you don't have to ask for permission to change it. It is yours. So make it work for you. Feel free to change things up, change the direction of the graph, whatever makes sense for you and your team. One of our local districts did exactly that. So I want to share it with you. They took theirs. You can see they kind of still aligned based on goals. Actually, let's start at the bottom. Look down here. We've got the funding stream. They still left, but they have high achievement for all, safe and orderly environment, strong school and community relationships, and addressing learning loss. So I'm not even sure if that's an LCAP goal. So again, remember, you can add tabs based on content. I had even thought about like that expanded learning opportunity. You might want to have its own tab. Again, whatever works for you. You can see they added their first goal. They did theirs a little bit different. They chunked all of their classroom support here. They've got their actions that are here. They talked about their funding streams and any potential adjustments they might be wanting to make in the future and potential next steps. So again, their next topic under this one is around professional learning. So please know that you're not going to hurt our feelings. It is your document. Do as you see fit as to what makes the most sense for you. All right. So now you've got the document, kind of have an idea. Hopefully I've helped you kind of navigate the form. Feel free to reach out to your Learning Network partner if you'd like them to come out and actually play with the document with you, kind of think through that with your team. Or you're welcome to just take the document and hit the ground and start plugging away. So we hope that this has been supportive and helps you to align your plans and gives you some clarity with all these different plans in place within your district. So I want to thank you for your time. We appreciate all that you do for kids every day. You are our heroes. Have a great day.